Sons of the Forest, an open-world sandbox survival horror game and sequel to the 2014 game The Forest. What's the story, and how does it play? We'll get into that today. The story. Although not too many details have been released about the story, what we know is that you seem to play an operative and you're in a squad, heading towards a remote island to find a missing billionaire. There are at least 2 helicopters on the mission, including yours. Everything seems to be going to plan until a naked man jumps onto your helicopter, causing it to lose control and crash. Next thing you know, you regain consciousness in the middle of the night. One of your squad members is on the ground, semi-conscious. He is then violently dragged into the bushes by a giant hand, and you see his flashlight flinging lights around before the bright white light becomes tinted with red. You find yourself stranded on a remote island. However, you're not alone, as the locals are always watching you. What's worse is that most of them seem to be mutated humans or what appear to be failed experiments. At some point you find a crash site. Exploring the site, you find a Hollow Springs pamphlet that seems to be promoting underground luxury bunkers, filled with amenities of modern homes. You'll also eventually find a secret entrance to one of these bunkers, and what you'll find inside are clean modern equipment and a 3D printer that has printed a mask that you can wear. It would also appear that some of the inhabitants on the island wear the exact same mask. You put it on, presumably hoping to fool them into thinking that you're one of them. There's also a cutscene showing another character shooting cannibal babies being hurled at it by what looks like a pile of human bodies, only for another older character to tell him to get down, son, as he fires his shotgun at the cannibal babies. Whether or not these are the 2 characters from the first game is still to be determined, but they might be. This remote island is clearly shrouded in mystery. What are these modern bunkers doing on a remote island? Are there more survivors on the island? Why is the island filled with abominations that look like mutated humans? Presentation. Sons of the Forest is an open-world game set on a remote island. Being an island, you can come to expect sandy beaches, thick forests, and caverns, with some partially filled with water. What's unexpected are these bunkers, filled with modern equipment. These are all beautifully rendered, up to par with today's graphical standards. This game will also feature dynamic seasons, with the atmosphere and resources available changing based on in-game time. The enemies in this game look creepy as heck. Although some of them look like regular humans, they are cannibals, wanting to feast on your blood and gut. Others look like something from a psycho doctor's experiment, experimenting with local human population, creating something out of nightmares. You have the Fingers, who seem to be a humanoid mutant with no arms and a massive maw extending across its torso, neck, and head. Then you have the Twins, who appear to be humans fused by their waist and sharing both their legs, with elongated limbs and deformed, split-apart faces. The weirdest one of all is this thing that looks like a pile of humans put together into a blob, who can seemingly hurl dead babies at you. The gameplay. Sons of the Forest is an open-world survival horror game, and it will throw you into the deep end of the island as you search for a missing billionaire, or even just to survive. You get to make all of your own decisions as there will be no NPCs nor quests to guide you. With that in mind, you'll be doing plenty of exploration and figuring things out on your own, on where to go next and what to do to survive. You'll have to do everything you can to survive on this hostile island, filled with mutants and wild animals, wanting to drink your sweet, sweet blood. This includes killing them with your weapons and also building safe havens for yourself. You'll be literally chopping trees down with your axe, shaping them into fences and collecting materials to build safe houses, and it seems like you can really customize it. All the while trying to deal with the cannibals, mutants, and animals that will pay a visit to you for nefarious purposes. Your safe haven will also be invaded from time to time, and you will have to fight them off. It also seems like the cannibals try to actively break your safe house down and steal your supplies. Before you get there with big safe houses though, you'll most likely start out small by making a small tent, in the trailer's case an aluminium blanket pitched on some sticks. Then start a fire, presumably to craft various materials and to cook. You'll also be hunting for your own food, and it looks like things can get quite graphic with half-eaten animals that you've just totally butchered into pieces. To defend yourself, you have access to a multitude of weapons, and these are an axe, pistols, shotguns, a taser, a crossbow, a bow and arrow combination, and a Molotov cocktail. There'll most likely be more weapons for you to discover and use as you play this game. If all fails and you need to fend the cannibals off, it looks like you can decapitate one of them and use that to scare the other cannibals to leave you alone. In fact, it seems like some cannibals will be fearful of you when you point your weapon at them, presumably after you've killed a few of their friendlies. Upon their death, enemies will drop some loot to pick up, presumably some primitive materials that you can use. When and where you need to be careful of is when you're in the cave and during the night, as visibility will be limited to your flashlight. And that light doesn't shine very wide nor very far, making this game 10 times scarier. Sons of the Forest also supports multiplayer, so you can jump in with a friend to build things, gather materials, and kill cannibals and mutants together. First impressions. Sons of the Forest has some disturbing enemies for you to deal with. They all look sort of human-like, but not as well, and that promotes that feeling of unease. They look like something that will burn into your mind for a long time. The environments and world looks like a treat to explore. The combat part of the game looks fun, with enemies that can react to you depending on what you do, rather than blindly running at you to die by your hands. I would imagine that some would, but based on the trailer they seem to be able to feel fearful of you, and rethink their priorities. In addition, the fact that they try to destroy what you build makes me feel like they simply want to preserve their way of life, and your way of life is just unwanted. Even though I'm not that into the crafting side of it, the story is intriguing with plenty of mysteries to uncover. I wonder who else came before you, and how does this game or even this island connect to the first game and island? So many questions! This game releases on the 23rd of February 2023 for Steam. Hopefully the developers can work on the console versions after the release of the PC version. So what do you think about Sons of the Forest? Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next video.
Get down, son!